Hello walkers, and welcome back to City Walks, the channel where I walk around and share whatever I find with you. Highly dependent on serendipity. Um, and today we are having kind of another nature walk. It's just outside of the city. In this case, a tiny little city called Livingston, Montana, where I live. We are on Willow Creek Road, and I'm actually going to turn around because I got kind of a big reveal. It's not really a big reveal, but it is a pretty cool view. And in fact, I'm going to flip you around just real quick. 1, 2, 3. Hi there, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual tour guide, your co-discoverer. I say co-discoverer. I like to remind people that I'm not always an expert in a place or a location, but I like to discover things and share them with others. So today, there won't be a whole lot of discovery because I've actually been up this road quite a few times and it's just beautiful and I want to share it with you. So I'm going to flip you around again. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to tell you it is 53 degrees Fahrenheit, 12 degrees Celsius, 9 a.m. in the middle, well, towards the end of May. And we are just going to walk up Willow Creek. Willow Creek comes out of Livingston to the northeast. And look, there's Sheep Mountain. You come around this corner and you see this amazing view of the Crazy Mountains and the Shields Valley. And that's kind of what we're going to see today. I'm going to talk a little less, or try to talk a little less today. I also want to flip you around because, not flip you around, but turn you around here. There is Livingston Peak, shrouded in clouds beyond this little ridge line. Excuse me. And we've seen that numerous times from around Livingston. Oh, what a beautiful day today. I love this road because I like to ride my bike up here. Swing you around just a little bit here. The hill we came up here, or we started on, that's a pretty steep hill. It's a nice big climb. And then you come up here around this corner and you get this beautiful view of these rolling hills. And I had hoped to get up here a little earlier and get the sun a little lower, but that's the way it is. I want to thank our Patreon supporters today. I really appreciate your support, and it really does make a difference. If you want to, or if you're interested in that, it's $5 a month, I think. See the description below. One-time gifts and donations are also very much appreciated through Facebook or Ko-fi, and it just really helps me justify coming out here and making these videos every week. So huge thank you to you guys. And these are the Crazy Mountains. They are, this whole area, in terms of native populations, I think it was primarily dominated by the Crow, but there's a lot of overlap in a lot of these areas. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert there. It's a very complex history there, and but I encourage you guys to learn more. A lot of private property over here. I just want to show you this little sparrow here on the corner. I hope you can hear that. It's such a neat little song. There's another bird down in the grass that's chirping around. We're just going to have a little walk here and enjoy the back roads of Montana. There's actually a PBS show called Back Roads of Montana, and they just go around and visit little parts of Montana. It's a great little show on PBS, Montana PBS. If you can look that up, I highly encourage you to do that. They've been around doing it for decades. Ooh, look, I think this is some lupin up here on the left. You can see the rolling texture of these hills and topography, I guess. I just love that. I think, though, I'm not sure how much of this is natural because it's been grazed for 100 or more years. I just want to show you these beautiful, beautiful flowers here. Oh, those are nice. I know, those are lupin, I think. How nice is that? But over here, you got a big clump of sagebrush, and I think that was probably the dominant plant species here. I can't really prove that, and maybe this was all grass. Maybe gets a little more moisture and that sort of thing to give the grass its foothold. And you've got some trees over here. I'm not sure what kind of trees those are. Look like pines of some sort. But if you like these walks and want to see more of them, or from all over the world, Europe and at least Europe and Central America and North America, you can check out citywalksvirtualtours.com. That's my website where I post these, and I'm trying to go back through and maintain or add a little extra information to go along with these. And you can search by location and by walk time if you're into it. I encourage you to check that out. And comment too. I really love getting your comments, hearing from you folks, people that are enjoying these, and what you get from it, sharing your memories and thoughts, and your occasional corrections, sometimes more than occasional when I get something particularly wrong. But I do appreciate the additional information, and I want to get things right, so the corrections are also welcome. In the direct sun, it feels much warmer than, what did I say, it was 57? We're at 4,500 feet of elevation here, probably a little more here, 46, 47. And there's not a lot of atmosphere between us and the sun, or not as much, and it really beats down hard. I would trade that for, I'll take that in exchange for high humidity any day, but it's a little difference for people that may not be used to it. If you come out here to visit, you definitely want to drink a lot of water and wear your sunscreen. Did I mention that Sheep Mountain? And I just want to say, oh yeah, you can find, apparently they find a lot of fossils up there, not dinosaur fossils, but like seabed fossils. But it's also on private land, so it's not really accessible. I've been commenting on how much I'm enjoying the springtime on some of these walks, and one of the things is the smell, and the earthy, planty smell is so welcome. And the sage too. If you ever get a chance, there's something so special about being around sagebrush, especially if it's in the summer after it's just rained. Usually that's a muddy area, but that just pungent sage smell is magnificent. I just really enjoy it. I love this reveal as we come up these little rises, and all of a sudden the mountains pop out the valley, and the view expands off into the distance. Just love it. I can't remember if I said it or I was just thinking it, but it's one of the reasons I like riding my bike up here. In addition to there being very little traffic, you just get these kind of rolling roads. The climbs aren't too bad once you get up that first one. And you just roll along, you get these up close views, and then you pop up to one of these ridges and everything just kind of rolls out in front of you. So we're kind of facing north right now, the camera, and northeast, and kind of due east. I saw a deer in the distance earlier, too far for the camera to pick up. But another species you'll see up here are pronghorn antelope, Antilocapra americana, and they are not true antelope, but they look like antelope, and that's kind of how they're referred to here, either pronghorn or antelope. Sometimes as speed goats. They're the fastest land animal in North America, I believe that's true. And they are fast. There's some more. Is that lupin back in there along that ridge? And then some white flowers. I'm not sure what that is. I also love the bird song up here, so I'm just going to be quiet and we'll listen a little bit. Sometimes in the spring or fall, when it's been cool out at night, and it's been warm enough for them to wake up, you'll see snakes out on the road. I've said this innumerable times on this channel, but in Montana, the only venomous snake that is native here, to my knowledge, is the prairie rattlesnake. And my understanding is they are the least aggressive and least venomous, or least potent, of the rattlesnake species. And they're really pretty cool to experience. There is something that atavistic that tingles in the back of my amygdala, I think it is, when that rattle goes off. And and it's just a very primitive response, at least in me. But they also have bull snakes, which sort of look a little bit in coloration like the rattlesnakes. I actually saw one up here riding my bike. I think it was riding my bike. Anyway, and they are really beautiful. Really interesting to see. What a strange species. In general, I mean, not species, probably family or order. Snakes. think. I want to say they're savanna sparrows, but I'm not really sure. Look at this radio here. As we come up over this ridge. I'm also hearing meadowlarks. Oh, I'm going to show you some other little flowers in here. So I'm not sure what these are. If you know, please share. And then there's got these blue ones. And then some other purple ones, I guess. Guess these might be the same as those others, but nice little mix. And there's some yellow ones over there. All around here is mostly private property. Oh, we get some grasshoppers coming out. Beep. There's about, what is it, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches long. Yeah. So you do have to stay on the road or within the right of way. But it goes up for, I'll say 10 to 15 miles. And then I think I haven't actually been all the way up to the end, but there's a Forest Service access, is what I'm looking for. My lovely wife, Traveling Mel, who I've also mentioned on this channel quite a bit, made a comment one time. She grew up out west in California, and of course has lived in Montana and Wyoming a little bit, and Idaho, for a long time now, as have I. And we went back east to visit some family several years ago. And she made a comment about how different it was in the sense of having those hardwood forests where you can't really get a lot of good views. You can't see the landscape like you can out here. And it's really true. You know, we look out over this valley and we can see for tens of miles in almost every direction. There's a lot that's hidden in that scale. You know, these sort of little creek beds, and even the grasses can hide a lot of stuff. But you also get to see the, it's like a diorama. You can see the scale of this landscape and some of the interesting features, I guess. For instance, that rocky ledge out there going left to right. And then way down you see one lone mountain down there, and sort of the rippling, crinkling folding of the valley down below. How little microclimates, I guess, micro zones. You know, some place will get a little more moisture and a different species of plant will grow in there, or you know, a little ravine will shelter something and you'll get some trees that can make a living in there. I don't know, just something you notice when you take time to walk slowly through the world. Oh, I wanted to share something else that I should have shared at the beginning. I've started a Facebook page, as antiquated as that may seem. I'm not a big fan of Facebook or what it's become. Seems like it's all advertising now. Anyway, so I just want to make a page where we could all sort of share not just walking videos, but articles and accomplishments and that sort of thing. So it's called, the Facebook page is called City Walks Virtual Tours for All. And you can feel free to post any walking related content that you'd like and comment as well, as long as it's done with kindness and good intention. That's my rule. Look at how the water has carved that out over time and creates a meander pattern, I think is what they call that. You can see sort of where they've scraped through the rock here to make this road. Oh, it's a nice day. I mentioned the temperature earlier, and it's supposed to get up to 85 later in the week. And I'm laughing, I'm chuckling because I told my son that, my youngest, and he sort of groaned with how miserably hot that was going to be. And I grew up in North Carolina coastal North Carolina with 100% humidity, not being unusual, and high 90s in the summer. I feel it too. 85 does feel hot after a cold winter and a cool, wet spring, but it's just a funny idea of how we adapt to our client and adjust our normal, what is normal to us. There's a little sparrow on that fence post. My eyes are not as good as they used to be. And so the species that I would expect to see up here and have seen up here are, of course, the sparrows. And I cannot tell sparrows apart very well. I definitely need a book and a lot of time to analyze the intricate differences. But those various sparrows, meadowlarks I mentioned, but also mountain bluebirds will come up here, especially in the spring, and sit on the fence post. And I think they eat insects, but I couldn't swear to that. I see a dove flying across. That's probably a Eurasian ringneck doves, which interestingly, I have an old Sibley book and they are not listed as being endemic here. So I think they have, I don't want to say invaded, but moved in. I would see starlings, hawks, eagles, probably golden eagles, given this kind of landscape. They like these my understanding is they like these rocky areas where they can perch, dryland areas. I have seen curlew up here. I have seen sandhill cranes up here. Mostly down a little lower actually, but it wouldn't surprise me to see them up here. What else? I don't think I've seen a godwit up here, but certainly seen them in areas like this. I might also expect to see some grouse, probably sharp-tailed grouse maybe, or Hungarian partridge, although I haven't seen any up here. I've seen them on the other side of the valley for sure. it's hard not to have that bird song bring a smile to your face, at least for me. I love this little, it's not really a creek, but it's more like a low point where occasionally water drains off and you've got that single tree and sort of a slightly darker green going along there. Oh, it's very cool. We're coming up also on a little two-track road that I'm really curious to get confirmation, but I think it's across private land, but I think it's a county road, and which would mean that I could access it on my bicycle, or in theory in a car, but I'm not sure I have the kind of car that would do well down there. Might never come back. Look at this rolling rocky ridge line. Anyway, it starts at this gate up here in this corner, to my understanding. And there's no connector, public access connector to get back down into that valley from up here. And I think this road does do that. But I need to take the time to go check the county maps and find out. There's a great app called Onyx, O-N-X, that a lot of people use out here for hunting mostly, to tell who owns what land. I'll see somebody's gone down in there. You can see the grass matted down on tire tracks. Let's go down here and see if it's locked. Shouldn't be. But one thing they don't do, and one thing Google Maps doesn't do, it'll show a road, but it won't show who, if it's a private road or if it's a county public maintained road. And by maintained, I'm putting that in quotation marks because this road is obviously not particularly maintained. And it does have a posted sign on the right. Well, this does have a lock on it. 2 locks. So I would have to, I'm gonna take a picture of that actually. So that might imply that it's not public. Or, not unknown to happen, a private landowner has locked it. Oh my gosh, look at this, guys. It's easy to go along your way and never look behind you, but the perspective from behind you changes. And it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's the Absarica Range, looking south there. I just want to say that I am not, like I said, I'm not 100% sure that that road is public road. There is, according to the county maps, a road that goes off to the right that goes through that is supposedly public. And that's why I want to go and make sure that I can do what I want to do legally. I don't want to trespass. But I also don't want to cede public access to a public road. That's a big deal out here, especially over there. There's this ranch called everybody called the Marlboro Ranch. I forget exactly what the name of it is. Maybe Crazy Mountain Ranch. It's called the Crazy Mountain Ranch now because the Marlboro Corporation had a little resort out there and they'd bring out contest winners. There's a meadowlark up here on this post. Oh, so loud. Anyway, There's some cows grazing up here. The Cross Harbor company that basically owns the Yellowstone Club and Big Sky, private equity firm, bought up that ranch. They put in a golf course. They started irrigating without a permit, in terms of they were supposedly need to get a permit because they're not irrigating the way they used to, and they haven't done that, but they're doing it. They're irrigating anyway. That's a huge deal. Water's a big deal out here, and the ranchers in the area are understandably upset about that. Anyway, it's a whole deal. Billionaires having their way. Anyway, that's a whole different issue. But it's one of, it's just sort of one of the things that are being dealt with out here. Maybe you find that interesting. But I was going to say, there have been also a lot of issues where if a public route is not used for a certain amount of time, then the landowner can challenge it as a public route or public right-of-way. And so it's important to use, if the public wants to maintain access to a public right-of-way, then they need to use it, kind of use it or lose it. You can see a little bit of snow back there on the bangtails. That's that kind of darker ridge in the distance. That's actually good to see. It means we've still got a little water left. It's been quite a dry spring, I think. We've had some rain, but not a ton. See a lot more sagebrush in this area. I'm curious why that is, if it was not pushed out or if it's just a natural succession in this area. Sagebrush, I'm going to stomp here, let the snakes know I'm coming. I'm going to come down here and show you it close. So it's Artemisia tridentata. Each one of those leaves is three little, I can't get too close, but three little teeth, quote unquote, and it's got that kind of blue-gray, a blue-green leaf color. Really hardy plant, and just the really pungent smell. I love it. Very aromatic. Related to wormwood, which is, it goes into absinthe. And supposedly, absinthe has, what do you call it? Not hallucinogenic, but maybe properties, but it's a myth. It's just a really strong alcohol from the research I've done. Wormwood can have that effect, but in the concentrations it's used in, my understanding is the concentrations in absinthe is too low to really do that. Oh, there's a eastern kingbird. They are a predatory bird species, mainly insects. Maybe he'll let us get us close enough. Got that white chest and chin, and then the back is sort of black, and it's got a white band on its tail as it flies. Neat. They're really pretty. So cows, obviously a big part of the Montana economy and culture of the last 150 years or so. I see a pronghorn in the distance. And they tend to calve. A lot of ranchers, since they control the breeding, a lot of ranchers try to have the calves come off in February. So I don't really fully understand all the economics of ranching, but a lot of times, so they can get as much growth as they can in the summer, and then they sell them off in the fall, I think. But not everybody does that, and it looks like we got some younger calves up here, and free-range cattle. This is open range area up here ahead, which I don't know. It used to be that you had to open range was a designation that meant, or a rule that meant, if you wanted cows not on your property, you had to fence them off, fence them out. I don't know that's really the case still. As the world has evolved, so have the laws, I'm sure. However, they are cows. Mother cows are, like most mothers, quite protective, or can be. And they also weigh 1,000 pounds, maybe? I don't know how much a cow weighs. But we're gonna go up here and say hi. That'll probably be it. I don't want to get too close because I don't want to get, I don't want to say attacked, but challenged. Let's say challenged. I don't want to get challenged by a bunch of cows. Also, I don't want to harass them. You know, they're out here doing their thing. And we'll get a little closer to say hi. I will say that calves, especially the youngest ones, pretty adorable. So this rocky area over here, these rocks, I would say that looks kind of snaky to me, meaning that if I were walking around over there, I'd be a little bit leery of any kind of snakes, rattlesnakes particularly, that might be using that area for cover and warmth, kind of a heat sink that they can hang out by and then go out and find mice and whatever they can catch. Hi guys. Yeah, so they're starting to run, and I don't want to make them do that. So I think I'm going to turn this around, give us another good view of the area. And I'm going to say thank you for joining me today on this not city walk. Hope you enjoyed it. There is something just really enjoyable about taking a slow walk along a country road. So good for our health, both physical and mental. And on that Facebook page that I mentioned, City Walks Virtual Tours for All, one of the things I've been trying to do is find and post articles about walking, health benefits of walking, how to do it to get the maximum health, you know, different things like that. So fat burning, all that stuff. So I hope you'll check that out. But mainly, I hope you enjoy these walks, and I hope you come back next time. Probably going to be in Helena, Montana. Hopefully I'll get a walk in. We're going to head there this week, and we'll be able to share some of that with you. In the meantime, we'll see you later. And of course, keep on stepping.